Let's distinguish between the two. So in my current role as an executive producer, so I still produce content, but the role is more aligned to identifying the right type of content for different pieces, not just one show or one platform, different, but also
camera, lights, we set up, 3, 2, 1, action, we live, let's get up, we bring you the people behind the message, we here to tell stories and apply the pressure. Something's cooking, it's the kitchen podcast. Get behind the mic, start speaking all facts.
Alright, manene guys, sifikile sigalelekile igama we-LB lebohang Andres for my political connects. Today on episode 75, if I'm not mistaken, we've got Tsholo. How are you, Tsholo? Come in.
I'm good, Les, I'm good.
Yeah, it's finally happening.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's been maybe like a 3-year chase now.
Jesus,
but I'm
imagine.
here. Let's focus on. I'm here.
Imagine. I'm sorry, but if it's for the brand, ma'am. No, if I was asking you out, I would have given up a long time. 3 years. Imagine.
I'm booked and busy. I'm a mom. Like, there's a lot happening. But I'm here.
Thank you for coming. Thank you. Appreciate it. Okay, let's rock and roll.
Thank you.
Can relax. This is home, you know. Yeah. So let's start with who's Tsholo Maluleke. Oh, Lloyd is Maluleke, by the way.
Oh, it's a romantic. Hello, hi.
Where is he?
So I'm just a girl, Liz. I'm just a girl, I'm just a girl. So Liz, she's really just a girl. I'm a woman who's a part of this human experience. I grew up in Protea North, in Soweto.
Okay.
I am the only girl of 3. I've got 2 older brothers.
Ooh, remind me not to get on your bad side.
Yeah, only girl and the youngest. So
you're the last one.
I'm the last born.
Welcome to the club.
Thank you. So life of the last born was quite soft, and I don't mean soft in a material perspective.
Oh yeah.
I was very much guarded, protected. I always had a chaperone, whether I wanted one or not.
Wow.
My family was very focused on my well-being, which I appreciate quite a lot now thinking back. Until I eventually found my wings, I think I'm still trying to spread them and see how far I can go.
Yeah.
But just a girl, grew up in Soweto, in Protea North, grew up very much in the church as well. So,
which church, if I may ask?
Yeah, I used to attend, I grew up actually in the Roman Catholic Church.
Oh, Moroma.
Particularly Good Shepherd Roman Catholic Church. So it's a church in Protea North. Everything confirmed there, baptized there. I was on altar serve. I was I was deep with it. So church was a very big part of my upbringing.
Yeah.
We're Catholic at home. My dad's Catholic, and obviously subsequently his dad was family. So naturally, that's how we grew up. My brother went to a Catholic high school, so it's been very much part of our upbringing. But and I think maybe just getting older, church definitely still part of my foundation, but I think I've grown more into less about the church and just around the relationship with God, directly and specifically. So I'm still very much a God child, God first, always and all.
Does she go to church?
She does. She is. She being my daughter.
Oh, sorry.
She
brought a daughter.
Yes, I'm a mom of 1 now. And yes, very much so. I think she, in her own way, maybe unconsciously, because she's just a kid, she's really just following our guidance, but I think she has really played a big role in bringing myself and my husband back into the church.
Oh, nice.
And just having her, building her own relationship with God, having an understanding of God. There's multitude of questions she asks around the Bible and understanding faith and religion, which has challenged us. Because
I was about to ask.
Yeah, I believe in very honest parenting, so I share from a place of what I do know and what I don't know and I don't understand. I can definitely try my best to maybe expand her knowledge or reach into other people, other spaces who might have better knowledge than me, for her sake. So I think she's, just a small life has made such a big difference just in terms of just that reawakening to say, but you're God's child, and yeah, you
making me
God's
feel guilty
there,
right now.
man. Yeah, so
my
it's been a
grandma would be
beautiful-
disappointed.
it's beautiful to see, and it's just interesting how it all worked out, because it's not that you remove yourself or divorce yourself from church or faith, but I think as an adult, as you grow and things happen, you maybe prioritize other things. You know, church doesn't become as big of a priority. I mean, I used to never miss a Sunday at church. If I did sleepovers,
you attend body cell,
the whole
home cell,
the entire thing. So if I would have a sleepover with a friend, the very next morning, my parents would be first thing they're picking me up so I can make it on time for church.
Yo.
You know, so it was a very big part of my upbringing. And I'm thankful for that, because I think it laid a very healthy foundation for my values, and just understanding who I am, you know, outside of the influences of life and all these other things that you can.
I feel like you're very close to being a nun.
Never. Many things, just not that. No.
Okay, cool. What did you attend primary and high school?
Yeah, so primary school, we were all very fortunate, although all being my siblings and I, although in different phases, obviously.
Yeah.
We all attended a school called I. Griffith Primary. It's in Blegari. Really good school.
Blegari,
Varsity. So obviously, because of our age differences as well, just different phases of when we were in the school. So my eldest brother, for example, when he was at the school, the uniform was different. You know, by the time I got there, things were very different. But essentially, the values of the school were all the same, you know, that kind of stuff. So primary school was that, and it was co-ed, boys and girls. Then for high school, I was at Parktown High School for girls.
Oh.
Yeah, really good
That's
school.
where the English is coming from.
Parktown English always. I'm very proud of that decision. From my parents. And I'd like to say my parents for the most part, because I don't know how conscious I was around different high schools. You know, I think maybe at that time preference would have been because my friends are going there, or I know certain people there. This is the buzz school at the time. But my parents were very intentional about getting me at Parktown. So much so, I remember the initial application, we got rejected.
Wow.
Yeah, and this was on the basis, obviously, of area. We were far. I mean, we're in Soweto. Parktown.
Oh, they look at the area as well.
Exactly. Parktown is in Parkview. So it just didn't make sense on paper how a child living so far could really be effective in a school in this kind of way. But my parents made it work. My dad worked around the area, so my brother also went to school around the area, so naturally we kind of built our lives in that way, for school, for work, and all of that in the north, and then home was really just a place to be home with family. You know, I wouldn't say I was deeply integrated in the community or anything of the sort. I think I was very much kind of reserved in my own space, and maybe it's because I had chaperones also. People didn't know exactly, you know, building friendships with me, or maybe getting to know me wasn't nearly as easy as maybe other kids who may have spent more time on the streets. I didn't really grow up in that way.
No, someone strat.
Not at all, not at all, and not in a bad way. My time was starting was me getting in a car, being driven in one north somewhere, you know, and
have you ever been in a taxi? Of
course, what do you mean?
You're telling me you're driven. They came to pick you up, you're driven somewhere.
No, of course. I actually took public transport for a good chunk of, I think, the end of high school, completely independent. Because obviously schedules changed, now there's more focus on academics and stuff. And my parents, because like I said, everything was so centered around the north. So we'd all leave in the morning, drive to school. Everybody does what they need to do at school. And extramurals, everything accounted for. So by the time my dad knocks off, we are all leaving to go home at the same time. This is like 5-6 o'clock, right?
Wow.
But in grade 11, matric, when the focus is around academics and school, I can't afford to be sitting necessarily until 5-6 o'clock.
Gotcha.
So then I'd have to take public transport. I was in
no comb.
Listen, that was me. Like, the first couple of times, low key, what is happening? Because I'm not very street smart, and I'll put that out there. Because of how I was brought up. I'm always having the support and the softness, the support, the grounding, and constant crutch, I suppose, of an older sibling, if not an older sibling parent. understanding of Joburg streets is not where it needs to be. But I'm also content with that. I'm okay. But I'm
content.
yeah, it's okay. It's okay. I don't need to know how to,
Got you, yeah.
Yeah.
Did you play sports?
I did. I played a lot of sports actually. Right throughout high school, I did touch rugby. I know.
You lie.
I am not lying. Yeah, I played touch rugby quite intensely as well. But I thoroughly enjoyed it. For me, sports is I'm a team player, man. Like I love team sports. I love sports that require us to be together, but also they disguise the fact that you're actually working out. So that's even better. So I don't feel like I'm having a intense workout. So a bit of touch rugby. I was involved in a lot of cultural activities as well. So I did marimbas, I did drama, I did play. Between grade 10 and matric, I did a lot of running. Believe it or not, I used to be a runner. A lot of running, so much so I was running captain. Can you believe it? Yeah.
Wow.
And running was actually quite a serious part of my sporting or extramurals, if I think about it, because I even post matric into varsity, I did running. I was part of the Rhodes athletics team, the whole shebang,
So you could have been Caster Semenya.
I mean, maybe not that level, but it's just something I enjoy again.
Yeah.
It's an individual kind of experience, but very much team effort, to push each other, to get each other there.
Yeah.
And also netball. I played netball a little bit, but interestingly, post school is when I properly started playing netball. So I'm, action leagues for, across, there's I think 3 main spots in Joburg, Hill Fox, Fourways, and I think there's Midrand. I've played across all those, but in high school, during my high school time, I didn't actually gravitate towards netball in that way. I don't know if maybe I didn't have the right attitude, because netball's also... hey, you must know your story. It's not just about the skills, and I don't know, maybe that also wasn't a priority for me at the time. So... Gotcha. Yeah, I was busy. I've always been. No, there's no time for that. There's just no time for that. I had bigger goals, I wanted to get myself where I needed to be when it comes to varsity. I was very intentional about that. And I just, that was just what was interesting at the time.
And then varsity?
Varsity, very interesting. So I studied at Rhodes University. Yes, in the Eastern Cape.
In the Eastern Cape?
In the Eastern Cape in Grahamstown. I spent 4 good years of my life there.
Wow. And
not great. Listen, my understanding, exceptional. So it's gonna say that because I can hear what's up.
So what happened?
Hearing exceptional. Speaking not always, because I always maybe it's just myself, I have this thing around, pronunciation is not quite there. So I don't want to offend people with their own language of how I express phrases and the rest of it. But so Rhodes is very intentional, very, very intentional.
What were you studying there?
Journalism. So I did journalism and media studies, and I specialized in broadcast radio.
Nice.
So the way Rhodes works, and I don't know if it's still the same now, but when I was there, people who set out to study journalism from first year are not necessarily the people who make it to 4th year and graduate, right? Because the way the process works, from what I remember, from what I recall, each year there's kind of like a selection process. So you start off with maybe 300, 400 first years, and only the top 120 or 150 make it to second year. And this is all based on your academia, a whole bunch of stuff. And I think a lot of it also speaks to the VAC work. So we were required throughout the course, and I actually started this in high school, which I commend part-time for, is during holidays we'd have to spend time in professional spaces where we desire to work, or places where we're interested to collect shadow hours. So the purpose of this is kind of like getting exposure to the real world, but also just getting a realistic feel of what it's like to be in this
Professional
job that
setting,
you think
yeah.
exactly that you think you actually want to study what you want to do. So
That's nice.
for a while throughout high school, I think from grade 9 already, every holiday, I was doing this. Either the
Holidays, eh?
yeah, doing print media, like different mediums.
Wow.
So for me, that was journalism was not a question. It was just a matter of maybe what type of journalism, or what medium of journalism. But it was never a question. So I did a lot of that, and also then throughout Rhodes, during my vacs and vacations and the rest of it, I'd also be doing a lot more shadow working experiences in newsrooms. So yeah, it was very, very.
Was journalism your first choice?
Journalism was my first choice. I actually don't remember if I ever had a second or third. I think I've just always been interested in it, man. And
Wow.
the why is what interests me, because I don't think it's always been, there's no particular story or event or thing that's triggered me to be like, I want to be that person. But it's always been about being a voice piece, or being a mouthpiece for someone who can't be, or at least being able to assume a power or a role or position in society where you can represent other people in a positive way. For me, journalism is it's a powerful tool, And initially, when I started, I thought I was going to be Deborah Patter, with a degree, I'm out here, like asking tough questions at the scene, all of that. And no, firstly, that's not what I'm doing. But also, I don't know if it's something that is really for me, but I still respect that kind of journalism, So
nice.
Very intentional, very much about storytelling. I love speaking to people. I also thought it was an almost guaranteed ticket to travel, exploring, seeing the world, visiting different parts of the world, also just experiencing people and their cultures. I don't believe you can be a really good journalist without authentically trying to extract stories from where the source is. You have to speak to the people who are affected by these things.
You're on the ground.
It's not about me. It's not about my perspective. It's not about my narrative. It's just about providing space for those who need their voice heard.
Wow. So when you said you wanted to study journalism, how did your parents take it? I'll tell you, with me, like, how are you going to take care of your family? How did they take it? Did they understand what journalism is?
Yeah, look, I think I'm fortunate in that because I'm the last born, right? My parents probably felt like, if we don't let her do what she needs to do, and I could be speaking out of turn here, but just from the perspective of it was foreign, right? I don't know a journalist in my family. If there is, I'm still yet to discover.
So you're the only famous one. I'm joking.
No, man. Like the concept of media in the family, at least to my extent of understanding the family dynamic, I don't see anybody else. So I don't know of anybody else who's taken this route. So
gotcha.
I think for the most part, my parents were supportive. Maybe because it was very foreign to a lot of us, My mother is a mom, so naturally for her concern has always been around safety. And because of the tone of the type of journalist I wanted to be, Deborah Patter, I would be excited. That is me. She'd go into all these dangerous, and that's all I wanted to do. So for her, maybe the concern was just around safety. Oh, my little girl.
It's always like that.
Like she's that kind of tone. But from my dad, I think very supportive. He's just like, team, if you want to do it and this is what you want to do, then go for it. And for me, that was very, very encouraging because it's foreign, but I also can't answer the questions that everybody might have around the profession. I also might have the same questions, right? But it's that blind leap of faith to be like, it's okay, take the journey, we'll take it with you. We'll all figure it out, and see how that works.
Shout out to the parents.
Yeah, and I don't think money was ever really part of the conversation. Maybe it should have been, now that I know. Maybe it should have been, but it was more like, I do believe for the most part, the center in the family is just around, if you want to do something and you strongly feel passionately about it, you got to make it work for yourself.
100%.
No matter how much I may say yay or nay, you're the one who's going to do it at the end of the day. So it needs to be something that's going to
make you happy as well. Yeah.
And you gotta be content with the decision at the end of the day.
Yeah, got you. Please get that voice note ready.
Alright, no problem.
Okay, cool. So they never warned you about in the dangers. You know how our parents view the media industry, drugs,
Correct, yeah.
alcohol. You know, they never warned you about such.
No, and I think maybe it's because we thought of my career as journalism and less about the industry as a whole.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So journalism is a part of a broader industry.
Gotcha.
And part of that industry includes entertainment, includes influence. And I think for the most part, it was just around, if you want to be a journalist, this is the positioning that journalists take, this is the work that journalists do, this is what happens. But everything else around the industry, and I don't know if anyone would have anticipated this is where you're going into. I don't even think I had thought that far, just around the entertainment part of it and yeah, I don't think I had thought that far. So no, to answer the question, I don't think there was any constructive warnings or anything of the sort, but I do think more than anything, it was just exciting and supportive because I had wanted to do this for so long also,
I got you.
It was so long-lived. My parents were also just like, hey, do it.
It's a hand
Do it, yeah.
The voice note is ready, Masejo. Yeah. Caller number 1.
Hello, my favorite chefs. It is Masiho, darling. I just want to say to Tsholo, darling, I am so proud of you. I don't know if you still remember this conversation. The first time we met, I think it was your first day at Kaya. It was in the evening. You were just telling me how you want to be the best version of yourself in the radio space. Your eagerness to learn was just unmatched. And I look at you a couple of years later, you coming from the best tea in the city to being one of the best executive content producers in radio commercially. I am so proud of you. Keep shining and keep making us proud.
Man.
Darling.
Okay, where are the tissues before I go any far? That is so kind, man. That is so beautiful. And I don't recall the conversation, but it does sound like me. It really does sound like me. And I say this because I've always worn my passion on my sleeve, man. I've always worn my interest on my sleeve. I've never hidden the fact that I'm doing this and I'm doing this for real.
Yeah.
Like I'm in it and I'm in it for real. I've never half-hearted. I've never been 1 foot in, 1 foot out. And also, to her point, I mean, now I'm in the producer. Well, I've been working as a producer and which again was never really initially part of the bigger, broader picture until I streamlined into broadcast radio. But even that, like just having access and exposure to that part of the industry, I gotta do it well. I'm not just doing this for the sake of it. I'm doing it to do it really well, and I want to do it well. And I just want to do it well, man. I wouldn't want to half-heart anything. I don't want to half-bake it. I want to fully entrench myself in this entire experience because I don't know if I'd ever want to redo this again. And now that I'm here, I'm going to do it to the full potential. So I thoroughly appreciate that, Masako. Masako, very talented herself. Very, very talented individual.
Doing big things right now.
Very big things. And one thing I've learned from Masako is just her composure. The work that we do, the industry that we're in can really take a lot out of you. In as much as you put in, it can really take a lot out of you. But Masako is one of those people who just keeps her head up high. And she's almost unfazed, man, because she's got that knowing and surety internally. She doesn't actually need the external validation that she knows what she's doing. And that for me is probably why we even got to that conversation, because I see her and I saw her and I still do see her as a person who is very much in tune with herself and her understanding and her personal timeline, So yeah, that's really sweet.
Shout out to Masako.
Thank you, Sefo.
Shout out.
Thank you.
I remember now. I wanted to say about something. How I met you. Do you remember how we met?
I do not. Sorry.
I was part of a group that came to Kaya from Verts, that academic radio thing.
Radio Academy.
Yeah, I was there. I even met Ospa, and I met the head of, I think it was the head of production. I forgot her name. She's now at Spotify, if I'm not mistaken. I think she's awesome.
Guys.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
She was probably more on the programming end
Yeah.
at the time. But okay.
And then you served us Nandos.
Disclaimer, it's not my brand. It's just what's there. But okay.
Yeah, that's how I met you. I'm sure you don't remember.
I don't. And you know what? I need to put a disclaimer. Like, no disrespect. If I don't remember people's faces, I genuinely don't remember.
No,
or if I don't remember
it's
it,
okay.
I genuinely don't remember. But I'm glad you do. And I'm glad we have that memory. But yeah. Many moons ago. Hey? Many moons ago.
Yeah, true. Okay, cool. Why PR? That's like your earliest career?
Yeah, so PR was actually quite an interesting experiment.
Mm-hmm.
Throughout my studying, I think maybe I was in third year.
Let's continue. Yeah.
Third year, going into fourth year, during one of my vacs, right? I was in Cape Town. I was staying with a friend. I was working at Eyewitness News,
Wow.
567 Cape Talk for that period. And we did a story. We went, I can't even remember the detail. I've got pictures. I've actually got physical pictures of it, but I can't remember the
Are you going to give us the pictures? Are you going to give us the pictures
I
too?
can share the pictures.
Okay, we'll insert them.
I don't even remember like the full context, but anyway, we found ourselves doing the story, what. And then at the story at the time, it was like a community issue, a community health issue that had brought in the provincial government at the time. You know, I think there was a press conference rather, something of the sort. Then we did the story, and I think towards the end of the week that I was there, I then received an email, and I actually found this email. Funny story, a couple of days ago.
Wow, yeah.
It just popped up as a memory because I'd taken a picture from one of the provincial government people saying, hey, great meeting you the other day, what, would you be interested in a position as a media liaison officer?
Wow.
Mind you, I'm not done with my studies. I came here to shadow, you know, I don't have a qualification. And this is in third year, so again, the way Rhodes works, I set out to study a Bachelor of Journalism, which is a 4-year honors qualification, right? At the time, by the time I was in third year, I had the option. If I wanted to complete my studies then, I would graduate with a BA and no longer a Bachelor. So literally this opportunity came about to be a media liaison officer. At the time, I did not know what that meant. I did not understand. But the whole thing was that now you can either take the job in Cape Town, and you know I'm in Cape Town, but the friend that I was seeing.
Yeah.
Take the job in Cape Town, be a media liaison, not, and then get the degree that you actually didn't set out for, which would have been a BA. And that's not actually what I wanted.
Okay.
So I had a very interesting time in that moment. There was a lady who was a mentor of mine who had also gone to Rhodes many moons ago, and she was in the PR space.
Mm-hmm.
Then I reached out to her. I was like, look, I just got this proposal. What is it? What is a media liaison?
Yeah, what does it entail? Yeah.
And I was like, sorry, I'm just a girl, you know. I did not know this was going to come about.
Yeah.
But essentially, then she sensitized me to say, hey, it's very much related to PR, what. I consulted my older brother because I was like, oh my goodness, it's an opportunity for me to go work and not just work, make a hell of a lot of money. I mean, the salary was, it was literally an offer. It was, would you like to work? Here's the salary, what, just let us know.
And you're still at school.
And I'm still at school. I don't live in Cape Town. I'm not in Cape Town. I literally just went for a story.
Yeah.
You know? So I call my brother. I'm like, so what do I do? Blah, blah, blah. Call my dad. What do I do? Blah, blah, blah. Then eventually how it ended up, I did not take the job. I did not take the job. I completed my degree as I had set out to do. So I did my 4-year bachelor degree.
Okay.
And then post that, I was like, okay, cool. Before I get it, because naturally radio was what I was going to do, right? Because my specialization was radio and politics. So I was like, I will take maybe, I didn't even put a timeline to it, but I said, before I get into the radio space, let me explore PR, because it was also not really a part of the curriculum, so to speak, when it comes to journalism. So it was a lot about journalism, ethics of.
What are you doing?
Sorry. Ethics of journalism, the
Yeah,
rest of it, but not so much focused around industries like PR and how does PR plug into journalism as well.
Oh.
So then, at the time after I graduated, I reached out to the mentor again and I said, okay, I'm done, I'm good, here I am. And she's like, cool, come try this out. She got me into a PR space. Then, I mean, I was wet behind the ears, didn't have any idea, what actually was going on.
Yeah.
But I had strengths. I could write, I could read, I could engage, I could plan. I'm a planner, listen, I will plan. I will plan your life.
I know.
I will plan your life. So there's certain skills, like basic skills, that made me feel confident enough to be like, okay, I can give this a shot, right? So I did. She ended up absorbing me in the company that she was working at, and I was very junior, very, very junior. Working in a PR space for a beat or for industries that I'm not very familiar in. So particularly tech PR. So here I am, small girl, big world, tech PR. I'm working with your Microsoft, I'm working with Lenovo, I'm working with Cisco, I'm working with all these networking and all these technological spaces that I actually have no real understanding of it. And the only point of real reference would have been my father at the time because he worked in the IT space. So naturally, thinking I got it, almost confident, got my dad in IT, yeah, it's okay, it's cool. And it actually worked out, it was a good space, it was a good learning space. I did a couple of years in PR, so I worked at that agency, I moved on to another agency, many things, client relation kind of stuff, crisis management, eventing. So I was
eventing
really,
as well.
Yeah, I was really exposed in a different way before I could enter back into the radio space. So that's how I got into
Wow. So PR, I think it's all about building relationships as well.
Correct.
So just to jump into it, you building relationships, does it help you now in your current job? Those relationships, are they anywhere?
Oh, certainly. Yes. I think especially what I've learned over the last couple of years being in the industry, everything's interconnected, right? Everything's interconnected, but people also move in a very, I don't want to say linear or circular way, but you will find pockets of the same people in the same spaces, just in different companies or whatever. So definitely there's so much value in building worthwhile relationships. There's so much value in building relationships that are also beneficial for business, because not every relationship has to be a personal one. We actually don't need to know each other personally in any regard for the relationship to work out. And I think PR was the stepping stone for kind of opening my eyes to the fact that no man, there's business in relationships, there's value in the conversations, and it's small things. When you on the PR end, you're calling the journalist, you're the one calling the newsroom, you're the one calling a Tsholo saying, hey, did you see my press release, blah, blah, blah. And now, having been on the other side, it's such a different experience because I get 120 calls, 120 emails. I can't address all of them. I can't also receive everything that is being pitched to me. But what I can do is build relationships with the relevant PR agencies, right?
Gotcha.
So if an agency has a particular client that will align to the content or the work that you have, just keep a relationship. Stay close enough. Maybe an opportunity doesn't show itself right now. Maybe there's an opportunity for collaboration at another point, or whatever the case is. So building relationships is paramount. It's unsaid. It's just one of those things that you have to hone. And sometimes it does mean also, because some relationships lend themselves to so how's your kid doing? How's school going? Whatever. Because you can maybe connect with the person on a bit more of a personal level, just relate on other things that still are relevant, but it still brings you back to business. So relationships are key. Vital.
Got you. Please get that voice note ready. Kwame is coming.
Oh.
you know. But did you ever dream? Oh yeah, please hold on. Did you ever dream of maybe starting your own?
Sorry.
I'm gonna fire you. Did you ever dream of maybe starting your own PR company or
No,
just wanted to work
not PR. Look, I must be very honest, and I respect PR practitioners. I think it's an incredibly skilled kind of profession. You need a lot of people skills.
Yeah.
You need a lot of patience. Agility. I mean, if you're on the crisis management side of PR, any time is tea time. You know, there's media training, you're dealing with clients, you're dealing with so many different aspects. Very exhilarating, very exciting. But I must be honest with you, for me, I didn't see it as a space or a career where I felt like I'm going to self-actualize to my full potential.
Got you.
So no, I didn't ever think of owning my own PR company or anything of the sort. But now understanding what the role of PR is and understanding how PR fits into the bigger picture of business, of brands, and I do see the importance, and possibly if I do, maybe I don't have my own situation, then definitely PR will be a big part of that, because I see the value of PR, definitely. But I don't think I myself would want to be at the helm of a PR company or anything of the sort.
Okay, gotcha. Where's Kwame at?
Alright.
Caller number 2.
Hey, what up, chefs? How are you? It's DJ Kwame here. I would like to send a shout out to Tools, man, from a producer to executive producer, and that's not all she is, man. She wears hat as a mother, as a wife, a very amazing colleague. The boss head is coming, man. I think that corner office suits her very well. It's always nice to see someone progress, the person you kind of grew up with in the industry just do amazingly well. Great things are coming your way, sis. Keep pushing. The world is way better with you in it. You're just amazing at what you do. Godspeed. And I hope you get celebrated more each and every day. Ciao.
Did you pay these people?
No.
Be honest.
No, I don't have that kind of money. Kwame is expensive, right?
No, man, that's spot on. And he's so right. You know, just what he said. I wear so many hats. I'm a mother. I'm a wife. First of all, I'm a mother and I'm a wife. Beyond any executive, nothing much. Those roles are so important. You know. I mean, you would know this. For me, going home is the highlight.
Yeah, I know.
Of any day.
Yes, I try.
That's where my value lies, you know, with
Yeah.
my family, with my husband, and with my daughter. So he's so right, and I didn't even think these roles or these hats that I wear have a place in the work that I do. But I can see how, because I mean, moms are nurturing. I'm quite nurturing. Maybe a little too much sometimes to my detriment, you know, because it might not be needed in the type of workspaces or whatever the case is.
Yeah.
It's very much still a part of my personality.
Gotcha.
And that's just, thank you, Kwame. Thank you very much.
Thank you, TJ Kwame.
And I also want to grow. I do want to grow. I don't know if everybody anticipates or wishes or wants the same kind of growth for me as I want for myself. It's very easy to look at my career path, or at least my, not even career path, just my journey in the working world, in the industry, and assume, okay, maybe her next move is going to be this or next. But not quite. You know, like I said, when I first started out, I had one vision around, this is what it is I want to do in media. I'm doing something maybe that wasn't part of that vision as clearly as it is now, you know. And even so, while I'm doing what I'm doing, I'm seeing other spaces, other parts, other avenues in the industry. I'm just like, but why can I not be there, you know? And that's so important for me, because I'm so keen to grow with the industry. Now we're in the age of AI, we're in the age of
ChatGPT.
So there's a lot of regulatory issues, there's a lot of regulatory matters, there's a lot of things just as an industry as a whole that need to be relooked at, because now we need to make space for other players. That's a part of the industry that probably never existed 10, 20 years ago. You know? But now that it's here, I want to participate in spaces like that.
Gotcha.
So I appreciate the well wishes, Kwame. I definitely receive. And my biggest prayer is really to self-actualize in a path and and a journey that is really aligned with my purpose, you know, as an individual, outside of just my role in the industry, but my purpose. What am I here to do on this motherly earth?
Motherly
you know?
earth.
And how does my career then help me enforce that?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
that's where my thinking and my growth and my life.
Got you. Okay, cool. Shout out to Kwame.
Kwamelish. So
Let's play a game. Quick one.
Okay.
No, it's not about winning. Just to see what you think about other things. I'll give you 2 options. You'll choose one and you'll explain why.
Sure.
Cool. PR or radio as a whole?
No, radio. Oh, what? Always radio. I'll always advocate for radio. Always. People are like, oh, radio is dying, podcast, this. No, radio. Radio is number one, will forever be number one. I'm a very traditionalist, you know, also around radio and the reason for radio. I still believe it's that mouthpiece for a community.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like radio has a very clear purpose
100%.
that maybe some other mediums or means won't be able to achieve. So radio by all means.
Gotcha.
All means.
Okay. Content producing or your current job? I know it involves content
I hear
as
you.
a whole,
Yeah.
but content producing is like I'm focusing on the show.
Yeah. So maybe let's distinguish between the two. So in my current role as an executive producer, so I still produce content, but the role is more aligned to identifying the right type of content for different pieces, not just one show or one platform, different, but also aligning all the different shows
Excuse me.
with what's happening on other platforms and other areas. You know,
Gotcha.
how does digital plug in? How does this? How does that? So tricky. Only because I think the main difference between the two is obviously the leadership role. And maybe the depth of the leadership in that perspective. But I think to the core, they're very much the same and very much similar. So a producer is a producer.
Producer is a producer.
Just be a super producer. That's the answer. Super producer is the answer. That's what matters. Yeah.
Okay, no, because of time, let's get into it. We're done with the game. Your current job, right? You started off as a producer for the best tea in the city. You were doing amazingly. Shout out to you.
Thank you.
So, how was that for you, the producing part? Yeah, for best tea in the city.
Producing, interesting. I think you maybe bumped into me in that phase, but it started a little earlier than the best tea. So while I was working in PR towards the later years of my PR stint, I actually got hired at Kaya while having a PR job. So I would do my normal 8 to 5 in PR. I used to work at an agency in Ilovo, and then later on in the evening, then I'd come in and do the talk shows. So I would work home with my pastor. At the time, myself and I were, that's probably when we
had the
first
conversation,
engaged,
yeah.
yes. So home with my pastor, there was a lot of specialized programming in the talk space as well at the time. So I'd help out with those shows. So I'd say my real entry into producing was really from a talk perspective before it was music.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. And that experience on its own was actually probably the best way to do it, because music programming and talk programming is slightly different, not same but different. But it was a good introduction in terms of just, again, reusing that medium for what it really is for. So, yeah.
I've always wondered, like, what type of a person, like the personality-wise, do you have to have in order to excel in being a content producer?
You gotta be
Like,
curious.
yeah.
It needs to not be about you, first of all, but there needs to be this unshakable curiosity for life, for things, for stories, for people, for conversations, and not in a sensational kind of way. You're not listening in, or you're not figuring out what's happening because, you want to take a gossip angle, but you genuinely have curiosity about how people live and what takes people off, what gets people going, because those questions that you're curious about, I can almost guarantee you're not the only one with those questions. But
Gotcha.
A really good producer knows how to take those questions that probably everybody's thinking about, repackage them into a palatable way, and reserve them back where a listener thinks, oh my gosh, how does this person know what I'm thinking? How are they in my
Got
head,
you.
you know? So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Let's get that voice note ready. I think we're gonna play 2 because of time. Tato
Yeah, I still got 2 more.
and Lerato.
Okay.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Tato coming first.
Okay, that's Tato.
Hello there, chefs. This is Tato. Tsholo, from producing the best tea in the city to being an EP, what a journey it has been, right? Yeah, continue to do your best, continue to be great, and continue to win. You know, win. Yeah, do best and keep shining.
There's Lerato coming through again.
Let's go.
Hello there, chefs. It's Larato here, and I'd like to send a shout out to Tsholo for being one of the most meticulous people that I've come across, particularly when it comes to planning and sort of playing an overarching role when it comes to delivering a good radio product on a day-to-day basis. Radio consumers generally don't really get to see the work that goes into ensuring that everything that goes on air is as good as can be. So, as someone who critically works behind the scenes, she deserves the acknowledgement.
Shout out.
Thank you.
Tato and Lerato.
And you know, that bestie comment, maybe that's part of the answer of your previous question around working on bestie. Uncle T is very meticulous, eh?
Isn't it?
He's very, Uncle T arrives maybe 2 hours or more before his
Actually,
show
you're
starts.
right.
Yeah. His prep is exceptional. I remember, working with Uncle T, I'd put together a script thinking, I've done my job 3 hours early, listen, I can go home, relax, do the most. 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, the sir calls and he says, sorry ma'am, love your work, but this is not it. This is not it. And that for me is a testament of
Wow.
it's not just how you feel about the work. Also, you gotta respect your audience, man. Like
100%.
prep something that is mind-blowing. Prep something that shows it has been prepared. So maybe part of the way and the nature in which I work and move within the radio space has a lot to do with me starting off with Uncle T because of his style of radio, his style of preparation. He's very meticulous. Uncle T does not miss a beat. There is no show he ever goes on without thorough preparation. And I don't mean just I skim through a prep sheet an hour or 2 before. I mean, the night before, the morning of,
Wow.
It's proper. So
Best
thank
team in
you,
the city.
thank you, Uncle T. I think just his style of working, whether he knows it or not, and his show has been a very instrumental player in training, just in producer training and making sure that the support team that works across any show really gets that grounding from him because he's actually a very good person to learn from. So thank you.
Shout out, Brati.
And thank you, Lerato. Thank you very much, Tato, who currently produces the best tea in the city. And every day, Tato shocks me, hey, like every single day, with
Blind
things like the
spot.
blind spot.
Yeah.
What is going on there?
Yeah.
That needs to be a whole production. That needs to be a visual representation. That girl's mind is out of this world. And she does it just so quietly, so composed, just
Just doing my
She's just
job.
doing her job, but she is doing it incredibly.
Yeah, to the
Similarly
team.
with Lerato, she doesn't work within, we don't work within the programming space together, but she's key in terms of getting data, getting research around what influences the type of programming we put together, and exceptional work.
Shout outs, guys. Thank you very much. Okay, as we end, this is the kitchen podcast. I always ask people this question: can you cook and what's your favorite meal?
Can I cook? So, listen.
Air fryer, down microwave.
No, definitely not. I can cook for days. And
Yeah.
it's so funny you say this. My daughter the other day, she's like, yeah, Mama, I like your cooking, but... And I immediately
But.
speak out and know who's paying for your school fees. She's like, but... And then she's like, she likes her grand's cooking more.
Wow.
And I said, no, it's okay, I understand. So cooking, definitely. And I mention this because I come from a home with my mom, who's a chef. My mom's a professional. She does the things in the kitchen.
Wow.
Like from a skill-based perspective and just natural. There's some people who just know what to do with nothing. Who can make everything and something out of nothing. That's my mom.
Mm-hmm.
We grew up with home-cooked meals. We grew up with the most exceptional food that it was impossible to not fall in love with food. So definitely I can cook. Please don't ask. Don't.
Favorite meal?
Favorite meal? Yo, so many, but I'll tell you the kind of mood I like to cook for. I'm a Sunday easy roast, like have a
Seven or several colors.
several colors, but it's more about having a long table with family
Wow.
and friends and cooking a really good
Can I get an invitation?
Can you need it? It's about cooking a lovely scrumptious.
Yeah.
Just food is a mood, man. It's a
100%.
mood. Yeah,
100%. I
so
agree with you.
Favorite food? I don't know, but it's very hard to say. But I could almost guarantee you, almost anything my mom cooks is going to go down. It's going to go down hard.
Got you. Okay, what advice would you give to anybody who wants to get into the radio industry?
Yeah, look, I always say these things are squeezing in, open up the industry. Like, and as much as we joke about it because we are a part of it, I can fully understand how, where that appetite and that yearning to want to be in it. The advice is don't quit, don't give up, pursue. There will be a door that opens, there will be an ear that listens. But most importantly, I think open up your understanding of the industry broader than just what it is you want to do. Because you don't need to, not everyone's going to be on air by virtue of being, by virtue of sending a demo and then you're on a primetime slot. No. Some people start in sales, some people start in digital, some people start as, copywriters, some people start, so for me, it's the interest for what you want to do in the industry needs to be beyond just the on-air or whatever bubble you think you're going to contribute. If you have a full understanding of what this industry requires of a person who's in it, then you'll know how to get yourself in it, because it also accommodates a lot of multi-skilled individuals. So you don't have to just have a voice. You could have everything but the voice and you could still kill it,
100%.
You could have the voice and many other things and your voice could still be secondary to all your other skills. So just explore, keep pushing. Also be prepared to hype yourself up, for lack of a better way to put it. Be your own support system. Because it's also not the kind of industry where after every show, people are going to be clapping hands and, giving you flowers and roses. Sometimes some people, unfortunately, move on to the next life without ever receiving their flowers. And that's just something that's so you also need to learn to be self-sustaining in terms of your achievements and I suppose your growth part, but also come in with a plan. That's another thing. Come in with a plan. Don't just come in to be part of the industry. We've got enough people who are a part of the industry. What is it that you want to do? Everybody has something to offer. So bring a part of you, bring something unique, bring something different.
Gotcha.
But you're going to make it, guys. It's fun. It's fun this summer.
You're going to make it. Okay, cool, man. Thank you very much. Where can people catch you? Social media?
Thank you. So, I'm not very big on socials, but if you must, if you absolutely must, I am on Instagram at miss_tools. And that's actually pretty much it, really. You'll find me on Instagram.
Facebook, nothing?
No.
TikTok?
I left Facebook when I left high school. TikTok, no. I'm actually on a break with TikTok. Because TikTok is
time consuming.
You always so
next thing an hour's gone.
I had to have a conversation with myself and say, girl, no. So so that's about it. But I'm happy to connect. I'm open, man. I'm happy to connect. I just wanna meet people and engage with people. I don't think my story is necessarily the important story, but I think where I am positioned right now, I can try my level best to try and make a difference for somebody else. It's less about me than it is about everybody else.
Oh, so low. Hi, Thank you very much for coming. Are we gonna have a part 2, maybe?
Yes, of course. Yeah. By the way, this is my first podcast recording.
Really?
You did well.
That's what I'm saying.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Nah, cool.
Yeah.
Now, till next time, part 2 is coming.
That's right.
Thank you, man.
Juicy. Yeah. I heard my niggas be proud of me. Look at I'm reppin' my city so wavy, ain't nobody stopping me. Yeah. I'm giving no one apologies. I'm up with the squad, can't handle the sauce. I'm tryna make me some rands. Look at my leg when I dance. I want a Porsche, I want a Ferrari, I want me a ticket to France. I ain't got time for no friends. My niggas are chasing the bands. One of my homies just sent me a text and he says that he bought a new band. What you know about a young nigga on the come up? Niggas tryna play me like a sucker. I'm about the paper, I'm about them hundreds, I'm about the stacks, filling up my luggage. Looking at my 2020 every day. Had to think of something just to